Pour yourself something strong, folks, because we're diving into one of the wildest Elite Eight finishes you'll ever see. UConn just pulled off an absolute heist against Duke, and I'm talking down double digits with under 6 minutes to play. Arena going crazy, Blue Devils looking like they're headed to the Final Four, and then boom, the Huskies ripped out their hearts. We're breaking down exactly how Hurley's squad engineered that comeback, who became the hero when it mattered most, and what it tells us about this team's championship medal. But here's the thing: they don't have long to celebrate. Waiting in on the Final Four is Brad Underwood's Illinois squad, a defensive buzzsaw that's been suffocating opponents all tournament long. This is a fascinating clash of styles, experience versus hunger, and we're going to tell you exactly what to watch for when these two juggernauts collide. Grab your bracket, grab your bourbon, and let's talk some championship-level hoops. Bringing in my friend and co-host of Bronco Nation Live, all the way from deep in the foothills in Idaho, Nick Wade.
Hey, what's up, Sam?
Oh, just living the dream, Nick, you've already won the Bourbon Beer and Basketball Draft Challenge before the Sweet 16 even kicked off. Or tipped off, I guess I should say. We got football right around the corner. I can't help myself. But now you're just rubbing it in. I mean, you got UConn there. We thought, all right, Nick's finally scored all the points he's going to score. And then there goes UConn again, bringing us back in it. And look, I mean, you're one game away from championship with your pick there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Big East is no joke.
Yeah,
I'd have to
say. Do you think the Big East should be considered a power conference in basketball?
I'm not so sure yet, because outside of St. John's and UConn, I mean, you have Nova there, but I mean, really, that's about it. I mean, they were a 3-bid league. I was hoping to get 4 for our little challenge. Turns out I didn't need 4. All I needed was St. John's and UConn. But I don't think the experts count him as a blue chipper, because I don't really hear anybody refer to him as such. And even reading articles and stuff, they're never, the Big East is never included in that kind of talk.
Yeah. One of the most thrilling finishes in recent NCAA tournament history, Huskies overcame their significant deficit to punch their ticket to the Final Four, showcasing the resilience and championship DNA that has defined their program. Now they face a formidable Illinois team in a matchup that promises contrasting styles and high-stakes basketball. This deep dive examines the key moments that swung the Duke game and breaks down how UConn's strength and weakness align against the Fighting Illini's elite defense and efficient offense. So, Nick, what was the exact moment in that Duke game where you thought, okay, UConn might actually have a chance to steal this one? No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, at the half, you felt like all hope is gone. They're down by 19, 20 points. It seemed like Duke was primed and ready to, take this whole thing as the number 1 overall seed. They looked the part. They were acting the part. But something happened during the halftime. Dan Hurley had his guys ready, and then they came in and they chipped away. And when they got to about, right around a dime and single digits, that's when I, as a fan and watching this team, went, all right, they've got a chance. And, if they continue to chip away on this, then perhaps this team could pull off this mighty upset.
Yeah, it was a fun one for sure. I think at the half we had the Boozer brothers were down 2 points to UConn at the half. So it's crazy when that's your halftime stat and you still lost the game. But
yeah, I remember that text you sent out. It was, what was it? The Boozers were up 29 to 27.
Yeah,
at the half.
Yeah. Yep. But interesting enough, the number one seed in the tournament was 134-0, went up by 15 or more points at the half. It is now 134-1 thanks to UConn. So that's a crazy stat, man.
It is that, and that just, that credit goes to Dan Hurley. I mean, to me, this was probably the greatest comeback of all time in the big dance. Outside of the last second shot, probably the greatest last shot of the game to win that whole. Just the way that worked out. This is an all-time great game, and for me, like, this is awesome for me because I covered the Big East all year. Went into the big dance. St. John's perhaps puts out one of the top 5 all-time comebacks and games of all time in the tournament, and then UConn, of course, has to one up St. John's and takes down the number 1 overall seed and gives them that 134-1 blemish on that incredible stat.
I'm going to go a little off script here. Would you say that there are 3 top 10 games all time in this tournament, with VCU coming back in almost the same fashion against North Carolina?
I mean, it'd be hard to find something else that would rival these 3. I mean, just off my memory, I can't say that there's any other 2 that rival them. I might be biased, so because I followed the Big East all year, so I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't think that there's any argument that this game that we just witnessed with UConn taking down Duke and the Boozer Boys it's got to be number 1 or number 1B.
Yeah. Let us know in the comment section what your favorite comeback of all time is in the NCAA tournament, and if we witnessed 3 of them in the same year this year with VCU, St. John's, and UConn. But let's get back into the reason we're here. UConn looking for its 3rd national championship in 4 years. How does that championship experience manifest itself in a game like the Duke comeback?
Well, I mean, this game that we just watched, and actually the last game in the Elite 8 with UConn and Michigan State, kind of just proved that to me that, like, I know nothing, man. I had counted out UConn. I watched them all season. I had already elevated St. John's over UConn, but this game right here just showed why UConn had been ranked so far, so great and ahead of St. John's all year round, even though they lost the regular season championship and the tournament championship to St. John's. They were still a number 2 seed in the tournament. And, this just goes to show how great of a coach that Dan Hurley is, how great of a program and culture that they have. And they don't quit, man. And even though they lost both of those championships in regular season and postseason and conference, they're playing their best ball where it matters.
Yeah. Illinois plays a completely different style than Duke. Methodical, defensive-minded. They're going to slow the game down. What adjustments does UConn need to make against the Fighting Illini?
I think you continue to do what you're doing and doing best, and that's just grinding these things out, matching that defense with defense. I mean, we saw that in the last half of the Duke game and that last quarter of the half, where they just they caused turnovers. So I think that they're going to meet that. They need to meet defense with defense, and then also their guard play. And hopefully Reed will continue to dominate how he did last game. They're going to need him to do that in the paint. And I think that will probably be the key for them to confront this defense, is get that in the paint, get them in there. But then there are no slouches at the guards. They have Ball, they got Mullins, and they got Damari Jr. That can confuse the defense. And I think they have a good chance here.
Yeah. Is this UConn's team actually better than 2024 championship squad, or are they just getting lucky at the right time?
I would have to say that I think that they're even better of a team because they've met adversity throughout the regular season, their own conference tournament, where they were punked by St. John's, and then now they were totally demoralized in that first half against Duke. Came up, came back after the half, and really stepped it up. I think this team probably is way better than 2024 just because of the um, you know the battle testing that they've gone through this year, especially last in this last game in that first half, coming out and really winning a game of the ages.
Yeah. How do you see UConn's guards handling the Illinois perimeter defense, especially when the game gets tight?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're gonna be doing just as well as they did against Duke. I think Duke is a better team than Illinois, and so I have confidence in their guard play. Like I said, they have their new sensational star. I mean, he isn't new to UConn. He's been averaging 11.9 points per game for them all season, but with Mullen's range around the arc from the logo, um, you know, and Damari Jr. and Ball like stepping it up last game. I think that they're going to give Illinois um, a lot of energy, and I think it might be too big of a pill to swallow for them.
Yeah. Give me one player from each team who's going to have a breakout performance in the Final Four.
Well, I think if you just keep, I think we've seen Mullins break out in a major way. He's gonna go down in history for the March Madness. That shot's gonna be infamous for the ages. And in Connecticut, he's never gonna have to pay a tab ever. He's set for life in that way. But I think UConn center Reed, he's going to continue to break out, and I think with the guard play and getting him the ball, the rock in the paint, I think that if they continue to ride that hot hand, he scored 25 points against Duke, which really helped. I think if they continue to ride that, he'll be your breakout. But for Illinois, they're going to need to have their usual suspect, Ragler, continue to lead the team in basically every category, which he has been doing all season. But also for them to have a shot against UConn, I think that Stojakovic is going to have to aid in that. But yeah, those are basically my four breakouts.
Yeah. Do you really think Stojakovic is going to do anything, or did you just want to say his name?
His dad was pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I saw how he played in their last game, and it's just intriguing. It's a Stojakovic, and he's well spoken. I've seen some interviews with him, and he's led some pretty good moments in the tournament here, and that's why there's no fluke. They're in the Final Four.
All right, let's take a look into your crystal ball. What's the final score going to be, and what's the one key factor that decides whether UConn heads to the championship again or Illinois plays for their first championship since 2005?
Well, I think that I'm gonna be a homer here and take the team that I'm more familiar with, that I've been following all year, and that's UConn. At this point in time, I don't see anybody knocking them off. I think this is a year of destiny for him. In this game, I think it will probably be more of a defensive struggle, but I see UConn winning 70-60.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Bourbon Beer and Basketball one-on-one. Make sure you turn into Bronco Nation updates on YouTube Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time for the Final Four Pour Show, featuring Bourbon Man and Mr. Neat from 3 Pour Decisions. We're breaking down the Final Four teams. They're breaking down the home bourbons of the Final Four teams. It's going to be a fun show. For Nick Wade, I'm Sam Gillette. Until next time, stay safe.